Perseid meteor shower falls over Tarheel tonight, as it has been for the past couple of nights. A sight that at least some of the kindred have enjoyed, a throwback, if you will, to their mortal lives. But the drama that plays out in the heavens tonight is not of our concern. Our concern is the council meeting for this month. We open our scene on the govern in the basement of the governor's mansion in Raleigh, in the Wake District. Down in the basement is a little different than how the council room was set up last time. Rather than the round table, if you will, that the dukes and duchesses had been using, each duke and duchess actually has a full-size desk seated in a circle there in the basement. And when I say full size, I mean as far as actually computer desk size. There is no actual computer on it, but it's pretty much what you would expect to find of a manager of of any type of an executive business. There's pens, pencils, paper. A paper shredder is actually placed beside each desk. And the same nameplates that the council has been using is placed onto those desks as well. At the head of the circle sits the all too now familiar face of former Duke, acting Prince Biltmore. Seated to his immediate left is the man that we see here, Samuel Josiah, the former Prince of the state, the now acting Duke of the Wake District. A number of the desks are empty, including the desk for Woodrow Dannington, who apparently had not arrived yet. Those of you kindred who are arriving that are not on the council, you are pretty much what you see before you is behind each desk are a series of metal folding chairs assembled there, 2 or 3 rows back, about 3, maybe 4 chairs across. And it's pretty obvious. I mean, I'm not going to have you roll for this one. It's pretty obvious that the intent is for you to sit with whatever particular Duke or Duchess that you're of the particular district that you reside in. And good Reverend, you also see that there is a desk there that has Enzo Putinesca's name actually on a name card, and that table is, that desk is empty as well. And under his name is actually listed independent liaison.
I guess I'll go and sit in that section then, because it's very clear that that's where I'm supposed to sit.
All right. Same thing for you, Mr. Desmond, as you're arriving. That's pretty much what you see. And as you look around on the nameplates, you only see one nameplate that actually remotely looks like it might be, of a Tremere. Because actually, excuse me, apologies for not mentioning this. It actually is noted on the name cards what clan, or as it says, family is that particular representative calls kin. Mr. Putinesca's is marked as Giovanni, but there is a question mark there. So whoever put these placards together is not 100% sure. Desmond, you see that there is a single placard there. There is a lady seated at this one. The name is marked as Charlotte Caraway of the Mecklenburg district, and she is marked to be of the Tremere.
Woodrow will stroll in. He has his two weapons taken at the door, and he will go sit down in his seat with a briefcase.
Oh, speaking of weapons, yes, you actually, if those of you that are carrying are asked to disarm before entering. Which actually, what they do is they actually offer you a lockbox. All right, it's almost like one of those very a medium-sized Sentry safety deposit box that they just lock your weapons up and hand the key to you.
Woodrow shrugs.
Woodrow shrugs. Listen, you do see that there several of the dukes and duchesses actually have taken advantage of the fact that there's stationary at their desks. And you see that there's a couple of them are, their hands moving at breakneck speed, almost as if they're, using celerity to do it, because the hand looks to be moving independently of where of the person's thought.
I guess at this point, a very tall man, we'll say he is about 6'1", 6'2", steps through the entrance, gives a polite bow to, not really a bow, more of a nod to the attendant, not checking any weapons because he is unarmed, makes his way in, he kind of looks to the left, looks to the right, almost as if he's trying to make up his mind where he's going to sit.
None of the dukes really seem to pay you any mind. They all look to be fast at work. Actually, two of them look to be in some type of a private conversation with each other. A gentleman with long or about shoulder length dark hair. Those of you that have met Marquez would recognize him. And Andy Amos, again, you would recognize them if you've met them, appear to be in some type of a private conversation at Andy's desk. You see that Andy, being seated, appears to be writing something as Marquez appears to be looking on, almost as if he's giving some type of notes to her. This goes on for all of about 2, maybe 3 minutes, and she stands offering her hand to Marquez, almost as if to shake on some type of a deal. Marquez takes it though, takes her hand into his, and raises it to his lips as he plants a kiss on her hand. He nods and he returns to the placard where he is indicated to be seated.
I guess at this point he will which seat is closest?
I just realized I was muted.
Yep.
Oh, um, the seats, none of them are even remotely close to being full. It looks like whoever put this, assembled assembled the furniture well over prepared. So you pretty much got run of the place.
Let's see. Going up and asking someone which way is left seems like a terrible idea. So, can I have a perception alertness or awareness? Because
Yes,
the
you
only name I have is,
at
um,
standard.
yeah.
Yeah. So at a difficulty of 6.
At a difficulty of what?
6.
Gotcha.
Which okay, I see him coming up. Yeah, that's fine. That's plenty. Um, just by sheer common sense tells you it might not be a bad idea to sit with the Shamir lady. Safety in numbers.
All right. So he goes there, nods politely, and takes a seat.
Woodrow will text his ghouls that he acquired and ask them to stay like a couple blocks down, like 2 guys up the street and 2 guys down the street, to be on the lookout in case of an attack from any sort of attack. If people think they're coming in with like guns and stuff, warn me and then be ready to act.
I keep forgetting that I'm muting. Still muted. All right. It's about this time. Biltmore looks down at his wrist, and you see he reaches for a gavel that is sitting on his desk.
Biltmore will will take up the gavel, look around at the room, see who all is seated and ready to go. He will look at the independent seat, shake his head. He will also look for the harpy and also shake his head, not seeing him. And at which point he will take the gavel and rap 3 times on a wooden disc that's sitting on his desk for that purpose. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, I now call this meeting to order. Let's see. Seems we have a few that are missing, but he actually turns to Harry. Harry, if you will inform them what they missed. Harry, you see a gentleman in a tan ivy cap with a white dress shirt, tan slacks, and black shoes and belt. Looks at he's sitting um, in the same section as the prince, but a little bit behind, and he looks up and says, "Of course, sir." Very good. Now,
Now, point of order regarding the Harry character.
oh yeah,
It also should be noted that the gentleman actually appears to be disabled. I mean, physically
yes,
disabled.
yes, he has crutches sitting beside him. So, let's see. Walt doesn't know where to start. Hang on. Let me think. Sorry, guys. Little less prepared. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
So,
about that time you actually see Biltmore actually sees it from the corner of his eye.
oh,
Sam
okay.
actually mouths the words "old business."
And I was about to do that. I thought. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin with old business. Who has old business to mention? And he looks around at the ducal desks.
Woodrow will raise his hand.
Yes, Mr. Dannington.
Um, we voted on a princess time. That was old business, and it didn't get resolved. So we should resolve that.
They seconds it.
You see that Biltmore chuckles a little bit at the mention and says, "Very well. And if you all will give, and out of game, if you'll give me a minute to pull up the list here, I'll just go around and do all the names."
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Okay. He will look around at the assembled council and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, the matter of the official prince of this state has not been decided. You have two candidates, myself, Biltmore, and Mr. Josiah. I will call your name. Actually,
All right, just so you know, you guys do see that. I'm not gonna have you roll for any kind of type of to pick it up. You actually see a small slip of paper get passed from Duke those that know Duke Terrence to those that know Duke Hamilton.
Hamilton. Hargrove?
Excuse me, Hargrove. I'm sorry,
Hargrove.
Hargrove.
Okay.
Apologies.
All right. um, as Biltmore is talking, he holds up a finger. Actually, Harry. And you see the same gentleman um, that spoke before says, "Yes, sir. You take the vote." "Of course, sir. In the interest of fairness, of course, sir." Harry will actually.
Wait.
Hmm?
I said, yo, sorry, I'm late.
It's okay.
You know,
All
the
right.
United just feel like
As you come in here, it's a little different than the last time that they did a council meeting. It's not chairs; it's actual desks, like executive desks, that are assembled in a circle. And there actually is a desk that has Enzo's name on a placard.
All right. I'll go and put my feet up on my desk.
All right. On this desk is pretty much everything you would expect to find on a manager's desk: stationery, post-it notes, It's like it's a Staples wet dream here.
We going back to school or what?
Seeing Mr. Putineska enter, Biltmore looks at him. Ah, Mr. Putineska, good of you to join us.
Yeah. Like I said, sorry I'm late, bud.
Quite all right. You've made it. We were just about to.
One other
Hmm?
thing too, before I forget it, Jake. Behind your desk, you noticed it as you came in. The Reverend Johnson is actually seated in one of the chairs behind your desk.
All right, I'll give him a bro fist. And I'll give Woodrow Dannington the finger.
Can't you just feel the love? Anyway,
Marquez chuckles slightly under his breath.
um, Biltmore has indicated that Harry Wallace should take the vote for the. You heard this as you were coming in that it's time for the vote for Prince, official vote for Prince, whether Biltmore or Josiah, and so Harry will actually open. Well, actually, better way of doing this. He will actually pull out his phone from off of his hip, and he will get his after getting his crutches and standing up, and he will pull up to anybody sitting around him, which I don't know how many people would be sitting very close to him. You would see a list of all the dukes and duchesses names with a column beside it,
Yeah.
and
You actually see Duke Day's placard goes up.
and Biltmore will point to him. Yes, Mr. Day.
Just a point of order. Should be noted that Mr. Putinesco, while your presence is appreciated, you're not technically a Duke of the Council, so you actually will not have a vote here. But
Oh, thank God, I really don't want to vote for either of you.
very well. Your input will be appreciated, but again, no actual vote.
Oh yeah, I'm not fucking, you don't get a vote with my family, so I don't get one with yours. I understand.
Mr. Biltmore.
Yeah, what a shame we don't get to sit around with Giovanni and debate whether we want stromboli or lasagna.
Listen, why don't you go out back and polish my car?
Gentlemen, may we continue, please?
Yeah.
I don't see what's stopping you. Just some banter.
Biltmore will look at Harry. Harry will clear his throat. As stated before, to those of the council, you will vote either Biltmore or Josiah when your name is called. Terrence.
Abstain.
This throat clearing comes. Okay, Will, I need to know this. Are we going with abstaining? Are we allowing?
It's a legal, and under rules of order, it's a legal injury.
Okay. All right. So we're going with it. Okay. Let's see. Abstaining. Harry will look at Terrence and type something on his phone. Levitolia.
Josiah.
Reynolds.
Josiah.
Mr. Dannington.
Josiah.
Miss Amos.
Biltmore.
He notes that down. Mr. Day.
Biltmore.
Notes that down. Odom.
Who actually is here. Josiah.
Hargrove.
Enzo's gonna eye down Odom because I'm not sure if I've ever seen him before, or if I have, it's only once.
You haven't. You never have. He looks like he's supposed to be here, but you've never seen him before. Josiah.
So Hargrove went Josiah? Okay.
Yeah.
Harry looks it over.
And actually, PJ, you saw when Hargrove voted, you actually saw a slight deviation in his eyes, or he actually within a secondary side glance to you.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm gonna write something on a piece of paper and like ball it up and throw it over to Terrence.
He actually catches it.
Okay.
All right. Now keep in mind, I don't have Facebook access right now, so you just let me know what it is.
Oh yeah, it says, "You gonna praxis?" ?
You actually see him. He actually pulls off a sheet of his own paper, and he writes something down. And you see he actually calls over one of the aides that you assume is probably either one of the Venture's aides because they're dressed really well. And he points over to you, and the aide carries the note to you. All right. The note reads, "Thought about it. No support currently. Still in my mind."
Anybody else?
You're muted, PJ, if you were trying to speak.
Woodrow folds it up and puts it in his pocket and smiles at everybody and then nods, and that's all he does.
Okay. All right. Harry will look at his phone, look around at the council, and purposely look at Biltmore. Mr. Biltmore, any final acts before we, excuse the way I say this, kick you out? Biltmore actually chuckles at the way Harry says it. An interesting way of putting it, Harry. Actually, I do have a few recommendations. He looks at Charlotte and says, "Miss Carraway, I'm going to have to ask you to get out of my chair."
While he's saying this, I send a text to Enzo and the Reverend, and I say, "Call in Princely Boons now, because it won't be worth it after."
Ah, fuck. You know, he looks over at Woodrow. I was about to beat my best score in Daddy Short Legs, and you fucked me. I just want you to know, you fucked me.
He sends up a peace sign at, and so
Kids these days.
But yeah, Biltmore looks at Charlotte. Miss Caraway, I'm gonna have to ask you to vacate my seat.
Hey, so
You'll still
the
be
matter,
regent, but I'm taking my
okay,
seat as Duke.
With
listen, guy,
pleasure.
I got an important question here. These princely boons, those are for the prince, yes? Like whoever holds the title of the prince. Obviously, it's not the artist formerly known as who owes me this. I'm wondering who owes me now. Because you don't got the power to do what I need you to do anymore.
Josiah
And
speaks. They princely boons will transfer to the new. He actually stops. Let me rephrase that. The princely boon is a boon for the chair, not the person in it per se.
all right, that's great.
Woodrow's eyebrows will shoot up very high.
And Biltmore will nod, approving, verifying that, yeah, princely boons do work for whoever holds the seat.
Well, I mean, like that doesn't seem very fair to Josiah here that he's going to owe me for, what I did for you.
As this is Josiah speaking, as the Prince of Tarheel districts, if it would not cause ill favor, I guess you could say, between you, Mr. Biltmore, or you, Mr. Putanesca, I would be more than happy to transfer those boons to Mr. Biltmore.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's got the sway anymore to provide me with a legitimate princely boon. But you don't owe me that, so I'm not. I don't see what's going on. I'm a little confused.
Mr. Putanesca, what would you ask?
Well, I mean, isn't it for me to ask in my time? You owe me, after all. I don't think that you should get to decide when I call that in.
He looks at Josiah. I believe we can collaborate when we decide how we will fulfill it when it is asked.
Sure, that sounds good. Collaboration. It's like a toothbrush.
I believe so as well. But your final suggestions?
Yes. Mr. Dannington, it's come to my attention that you may not be withholding your beast as effectively as others would. I would highly suggest you seek counseling.
Woodrow looks over at you, and he says, "Who in our sect have I frenzied on? Who have I not contained myself against?"
Marquez's voice goes up. He makes a good point. Mr. Dannington has been at my side for many a night, as well as a number of the other ladies and gentlemen of this council, and for them to say otherwise would be a straight up lie. But regardless, Mr. Dannington has earned his keep in this domain, and quite frankly, I don't see where the evidence is of this claim.
Woodrow will look Biltmore in the eyes. I enjoy the fact that you and your sire hold to high humanitas and are paragons. However, there are monsters that lurk in this domain. And if you think that you don't need your own monsters to get the job done, you are sorely mistaken.
I am not the paragon you think I am, Mr. Dannington. As even my sire will attest. I am merely stating what I have heard, and the sources I cannot reveal.
Wow, what a grave insult. He just told you that everybody's talking behind your back and calling you some kind of raging asshole. In case you didn't pick up on that.
If he said that out loud, you say out loud?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course he said it out loud.
Of course.
Enzo,
Yeah. Of course, this is Enzo. I said no such thing.
Oh yeah, I was just saying what I was just saying I heard, and I can't really reveal my sources. Fucking prick.
I am glad that the Ventrue have time to rumor monger against the
It
individual.
seems like all they're doing besides walking places. Am I right?
I am confused, Biltmore. When there has been an issue in this domain where something has needed to be destroyed, have me and Mr. Enzo ever shirked that duty?
As I said, merely stating what I've heard.
No. You wanted to bring my character into question, so I would like to have you answer this one. When has my success in what the domain needs wavered? When have I not gone after the Inferno when it was presented? When have I not fought Sabat? When have I not destroyed the individual sowing chaos within this domain? Please tell me where I have failed and been derelict in my duty.
In
Josiah's
that,
voice goes up. To the ladies and gentlemen of this council, I am aware that my princedom is not official as of yet. But what is official, Mr. Biltmore, is my sway over you as your domitor. A legitimate question has been asked. Answer it.
out of game, he was about to.
Yeah, but Sam don't make
Completely unnecessary. Thank you for the order, sire. When I was about to answer the question already.
So sassy.
In this thing, you have not wavered. And for that, I commend you. I will say this way, if you feel yourself slipping, if you feel it becomes too much, we can offer solace. We know people.
Then I take offense, because you have questioned my character, not offered assistance. You have told the domain that I am some raging animal, that I am losing myself, when all I have done is keep the best interest of this domain in sight. So, I take offense with your words.
The Reverend's hand shoots up in the back.
Biltmore nods to him.
And the terminology used, while commonly referred to among your circles as the inner beast, seems to have been delivered with a double meaning that might be construed as an insult toward his heritage.
By no means. By no means whatsoever.
I understand the Harpy is your clanmate, and therefore my issue with your phrasing will probably come to little, as he is the Harpy and he is the one who would decide this. But know that I have taken offense with you as a person.
He looks at Josiah, holds up a finger, thinking. Let me personally apologize for any offense I might have delivered in word, in tone, or anything of the like. The offer still stands, and it stands for any. Should any of you feel yourself slipping, there is assistance available.
From who, you?
No,
Oh,
I am not
good.
worthy to present that.
So then, if you agree that you have slighted me publicly before my peers and that there was social disgrace that was done, then you'll be paying me in the form of our society, yes?
When this meeting is over, you may ask a boon of me.
How come he has to do his stuff in secret when you get to bash him in public? You know, baselessly, as we've established.
Sam's voice
Like
comes up.
that word? I've been adding syllables.
Indeed, you have, Mr. Pudinesque. Because the reason why my chowder would rather this be done in private is
It's because
that
he feels like an ass. I totally understand.
I won't say that, but
Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm not even here. I
well,
apologize.
to be quite honest, Mr. Pudinesque, the results of their conversation will become public after the Harpy has had a chance to record it. And I myself will personally see to it that it is recorded properly.
Cool.
Any more issues? And he actually looks around at the council. Before I take my leave and take my seat. And at this he looks at Charlotte.
She gets the point, but does not say a word.
That's not what I was. Never mind.
Oh, she's rising. She's rising to give you the chair. But
Okay.
she kind of thinks what you might. She kind of sees through the curtain here, but doesn't say a word. And I'm going to be AFK for just a second, so if you will, RP amongst yourselves.
You know, if anybody ever feels as though they've been offended by anybody here, Um, they can always come talk to me. And as my buddy, the Reverend Dre here, will surely attest, I'm a real good shoulder to cry on, and I'm a problem solver.
Indeed.
Also, unlike the Harpy, I can come to you. Within an amount of time. If you want to wait for the old Pony Express, feel free. Has that guy even figured out that he can ride horses yet, or no?
I'm relatively certain horses would be allowed him. I'm just thinking he's having trouble locating some properly.
Oh, well, I mean, I know a guy with horses, and yeah, I can get him one
That's about
with
as
a
far
head,
as I want that story to go.
without a head. Oh, no, I know one of those guys too. I didn't think it would be fitting to bring up in mixed company.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, some of those boys back in Sicily, they get bored,
Oh,
And
for everyone's
Sam is Sam rising to as Sam is rising to head over to the Princeton's chair. He actually speaks. Speaking of our dear Harpy and his situation, with do this respectfully and follow the rules of order as we know them. I open the floor to open discussion as to how this should be handled.
the Harpy's inability to use vehicular transportation.
That as well as the source of this problem.
Well, I'll let you know one thing. You're not going to solve it at the source, because it's fucking goddamn werewolves. Now, but I say we get this guy a donkey, maybe a rickshaw. I'd like to see that. He can ride around with his little harpy scrolls.
Sam actually being seated, Reverend, you see he extends a hand to you. Understand that the good Reverend actually is here this evening, and Mr. Johnson, I appreciate your presence here.
The Reverend nods.
Would you care to elaborate on your situation with the council?
But of course. And he'll stand. Shortly after I arrived in this area and was seeking the names of those to whom my presence should be made known, I received a visitor in the form of the Harpy. While he was there, both my church and his vehicular module were defaced. A few days later, we were invited. I assume everyone else was invited. I know I was specifically invited by two talking creatures to attend a meeting in a campground near the mountain.
I was not invited.
It is a shame you were not. You would have had a good time, I believe. While there, accusations were flung about by the furry individuals, the canine challenged, and they began to dismember one of our kind, and then there were accusations against the Harpy, and someone mentioned something to me, and that's the last thing that I remember before waking up on the side of the road, naked and completely, though non-sexually, brutalized by these horrible creatures.
Boy, oh boy, if I had a nickel.
I was beaten and clawed and bitten to within an inch of my unlife, through no fault whatsoever of my own. Now, I have spoken with Mr. Oliver, I believe it is, about the matter,
It does not.
and he has given a small bit of recompense for the nature of the assault that happened under his watch. However, upon further investigation, it is my understanding that at no point in time was I actually violating this treaty of which I was entirely ignorant until I was nearly killed. I would call upon the council to look to that sort of omission in the future.
At this, you see, when you say you were not actually in violation, Harry's eyebrows jump up, and you hear an audible "hmm."
It's also at this time that you see Josiah actually reaches into one of the drawers on the desk, and he actually pulls out a folded up piece of actual parchment, not paper, actual parchment, and he extends it out onto his desk, taking various paperweights and weighting it down. Good Reverend, if you would like to continue.
I found it a very cool welcome, and if you would like to check this treaty for yourself, Mr. Oliver has sent me through an electronic missive the specifics thereof, and the property in question is at, and he gives the address of the church.
To which actually you see Josiah actually taps his index finger on that piece of parchment, and he speaks. If my eyes have not deceived me, you see he air quotes the word, furry friends have overstepped their bounds.
Well, I guess you get to retaliate.
Here's my thing, and Harry, if you would be inclined, is to give your opinion on this as well. I know Google is short of a word, but this strikes. Something smells up here.
Mm.
If I might add an additional point. Upon returning to my church to clean it out and relocate, I did discover something was left behind there that I did not place.
Go on.
There were hidden under one of the pews some 107 vials of blood. I am currently examining them with my limited medical equipment to ascertain their original source, but they were duct taped in a line underneath one of the pews.
This is another issue that the domain faces that may be more appropriately discussed at a different time.
I'm terribly sorry. I was.
As its own topic, just to clarify.
You actually see Josiah's face actually narrows, and he actually begins to breathe heavily. His brow actually beginning to moisten.
You're sweating blood and
Without
breathing heavy.
without his eyes leaving the parchment, his finger goes up directly at Caraway. You have kept too much from this council already. Speak, or so help me, I will see to it that you are left in small pieces to meet the morning sun. Am I understood? Charlotte rises. As I've said before, we did believe that there was a threat of sorts to Mr. Terrence's domain. I spoke with I did speak with the Duke, granted not at length, and you see Terrence actually looks up at her inquisitively when she says this. I did speak with Duke Terrence for a couple of moments regarding this, and I was under the impression that Mr. Terrence had this under control. But seeing as how not, I would believe that the cause would lie on both of our shoulders. That is the of Mr. Terrence and of myself. And you see Josiah actually raises from the table as his hands actually go under it, grasping it, the wood almost warping in his hands. You will not pass the buck on this one. Terrence, you may be at fault here, but my greater concern is the fact that you, as his eyes fall back over on Caraway, withheld information vital to the defense of this domain. Continue. And I want to know everything you know about this threat. As a matter of fact, I would think that the rest of the council would want to know everything there is to know about this threat.
We would. Should we not end the discussion about the wolves before moving on to a new point of order?
This is true, but my concern is that this threat and the wolf issue may be one and the same, Mr. Dennington.
Very good. I just didn't want to violate any of the rules of order.
Charlotte continues. It's been our belief, well, it's been my belief as well as that belief being partially confirmed by Vienna. It's been my belief that there may have been some dirty deeds done dirt cheap by the former Tyson with certain members of our independent. Well, clearly they weren't allies, but our independent brethren.
Let me also clarify that I should probably be speaking instead of Charlotte because I know more information about this subject.
Josiah's hand goes over to you. Now keep in mind, his eyes have not left that parchment this whole time.
I'll take that pointing at me as a directive that I can speak. And so Mr. Putineska and myself, with the good help of the Reverend, investigated Duke Tyson's laboratory where he crafted experiments. Upon looking for this place, we found an Assamite who told us that he had been selling his secrets to another rogue Assamite. This individual is actually loyal to his clan, and he had sold his secrets to a rogue Assamite to garner. They shared thaumaturgy, they shared infernal powers, and they shared experimentation, where they made three creatures. One of the creatures that Tyson assumed was dead, and the other two were made from the bloods of two different clans. Assamite being what I believe, A, was. The subject. Reverend, do you remember the unique characteristic of that blood? Was that the blood that would not clot?
I don't recall specifically. Let me check. And he reaches into his inner pocket of his white suit, and he pulls out a notepad, and he flips through. And I don't, as a player, remember that information. But
Well, either way, the information's there, so you're able to.
Sure, I relay that one of them doesn't clot. One of them absorbs other cells, and the other one was clotted but still moving, like still living, I think. The largest concern is that these, whatever they made, are the product of two different clans. One of them, I believe, was Toreador used in all of them, I think?
I believe so.
Toreador blood was used in all of them, and the blood of the Assamites was used in the first one, and I'm unsure the other bloods that were in there.
All right, Reverend, as you're flipping through, you catch that Ventru was in Tyson's.
I'll also relay that information to the group.
So yes, so we know that one was Toreador and Ventru, and one was Assamite and Toreador. C, we know at Toreador, but it is something that Tyson was worried about. It is no secret here that I destroyed Tyson, and I have found secrets from his notes after recovering things, and he left in notes that he would be very bereft should someone find his work. He was planning great dark things with them. This Assamite is not dead. It is loose, powerful, angry, and loose. All that we know is that he was dropping off stores of blood to the church. And now we don't have a whole lot of leads on that. I have locations as to where the things that were made were dropped off. I don't know that they're still there, but I have locations on where they were put. That should be the gist, I think, of what she was hiding. But please continue if you know something that I don't know about the situation, Miss Charlotte.
The only thing that we had not yet revealed was that a number of Tremere were coming into the state, but I felt that was trivial. Sam nods. Finally, you get one thing right.
Hey, I'm going to turn over to the Reverend. Does everybody know about that thing with the guy and the stolen priest?
I'm sorry. Would you run that by me one more time, Mr. Putinesca?
Yeah, the devil-worshipping infernal red-haired guy. Does everybody know about that guy who stole the incredibly devout priest and exploding corpse monsters?
I have no.
Remember that?
Charlotte actually looks up. He's talking about out of game. He's talking about the house next door to
No.
our house.
No, he's not. He's talking about my plot that I ran. That they are still
Oh,
looking.
that, yeah. But no, nobody.
I feel like that might be pertinent for everybody to know.
Yeah.
Oh, if you'd like, I can elaborate.
Please, by all means.
Oh yeah, so you'll probably like this, Woody. I don't know if you like it as much as you just get like a hard-on to deal with it. But there's this guy, right? He's a very powerful infernalist. All I know is that he's like somewhat tall and has bright red hair and gold teeth. And he violently slaughtered the regular priest at, I don't remember what it's called, blah 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 church.
St. Joseph.
And yeah, St. Joseph's Church. And he kidnapped, from what I can tell, the most devout man I've ever encountered to do God knows what with. Whisked him off to some wood smoking facility and has presumably done or is about to do very horrible things to him. He has already showed, I believe, the ability to create exploding corpse monsters. Because, like, we encountered a couple of those.
Just for your FYI, this is the plot for that Josiah's ghouls have been stolen and taken with that priest.
Oh, that one. All right, you did run that by me. Okay, that one. Yeah, noted.
Speaking of which, tangentially related to that, I do have a request that I would be willing to pay handsomely for at the end of this meeting if someone would like to aid me in that.
You should ask Enzo. He knows all about lots of aids.
He was going to be my first stop, yes, but I figured I'd give everyone else a crack at it as well after Mr. Putneska.
Yeah. Be fair. I don't give a shit.
It's at this you
So
see
what's the fucking favor?
Duke Day's placard goes up, to which Sam nods. Well, since we're apparently in the business of revealing secrets, there may be something that Mr. Dannington may be withholding. I have sources in me, and I bring this up now for you to confirm or deny, Mr. Dannington, and I do it in open court so that no man or lady can say that it didn't occur. I have sources that are telling me that your new residence of sorts is in hostile territory, so to speak, and that there's information about that hostile territory that you hadn't revealed.
That piece of information was not specifically about the Tremere issue, so I did not bring it up. But I destroyed another infernalist, if you consider that a secret. There was an infernalist that lived close to my house. I snuck into his house and eviscerated him. He had bound Mammon to his house. When I got there, the demon had already been dispelled, so whatever he had done there, I'm guessing, is gone. It was a place of power. It was aligned with the celestial north, south, east, and west. The house is currently empty. All books of relevant occult nature were taken. His minions were destroyed. He was capturing children and turning them into robot, hellbot, minion things. They were amalgamations, little pieces of people put together, small children. I put them out of their misery.
There were also bombs. I'm terribly sorry.
Yes. I also disarmed bombs, so there were no bombs.
You actually see Josiah's head he's lowered his head into his hands as he sighs.
That wasn't meant
Two
to
things.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
One, Mr. Biltmore, you now understand what I mean by me saying that Heavy was the head that wore the crown. And two, it goes without saying that we have a major security breach.
And I would think third that this is the reason why you need Mr. Dannington.
Indeed. Although I will open the floor to again continue this discussion, but I would strongly advise immediate action to quell this breach before the hole becomes more gaping than we can handle. It's about that time you hear a knock. The entire council does at the door.
I will turn and look at the door.
I'll go answer the door.
All right. As you answer the door, you see standing there on the other side is a lady dressed as the picture I'm about to put up.
I will reserve judgment until the picture comes up.
Okay. Ah, crap. Can't see the face, but it is indeed. She actually is wearing the ankh that is visible there.
I don't
Oh,
see
I don't.
anything.
Me
And you
either.
do see that she's wearing an ankh.
He's wearing a Sabat Ankh.
No, it's not a Sabat ankh. It's a regular. It's an actual Camarilla ankh.
Okay.
She has in her hand a file folder, and she speaks as you open the door. And as you speak, you can see that she does actually have things. Are you the one that aids to Mr. Josiah?
I mean, yeah, from time to time. Who are you?
He's expecting me. Annabelle Fairland.
I
Of the
come
clan
in, I
of
suppose.
the clan of the Bruja.
Oh yeah, right on. You want to see?
Those of you that are still at the table, Terrence just shit bricks.
Okay. Like, is he flipping out, or like I don't know what you when he says shit bricks? Like,
He's
is he
he's
like
he's,
scared, gripping his chair?
he's containing it, but by his body language, he just freaked out.
Like
You
terror, or
involuntarily did like a Popeye, like whoa.
like yeah? Is it excitement? Is it fear? Is it like wonder,
It's
trepidation?
fear. It's plain and obvious fear. No, it's not fear. It's abject terror.
Okay, he's an abject terror when he sees this woman. Okay.
Or the mention of the name. He doesn't even have to see her. By hearing her name sends him into oh shit mode. Ah, Miss Annabelle. I trust you found the meeting with no issue. I did, Mr. Josiah, but you requested me here, so oh yes, Mr. Dannington, you specifically, but I'd like the council to meet the acquaintance of Miss Annabelle Fairland, Bruja representation to the Camarilla Inquisition.
Oh, okay.
Miss Fairland, I know this is greatly outside of my station to ask of you, as you are the superior political position, but I feel that you would want to be in on this. Mr. Dannington has been detailing to us for a number of months that there is a infernalist sect, how would you put it, Mr. Dannington, a rebel alliance of sorts, I guess you could refer to it as, that
I
has
would
taken up
call it a
residence,
cabal.
a cabal. I was believe that you may have some interest in that, Miss Fairland. She nods. That I would. Mr. Dannington, after this meeting, as I will respect the sanctity of this Elysium, but after this meeting, I would greatly like to speak with you. And to be honest, I would actually like to speak with the entire council at length, but suffice it to say now that there are changes that I need to recommend.
I, of course, be willing to listen to a luminary of the Camarilla with advice that you may have.
Very well. Now, as far as your infernalist problem, I hadn't been made aware of that yet, but now that I am, we will see to it that it is done. I understand that there's problem with the guru.
Yes.
A, why do they continue to sully your domain with their presence? And B, what has been done?
Why don't you go out to the woods and fucking find out how they're still sullying our city here? What are you, fucking retarded? Jesus Christ. It's a fucking sect of werewolves, you retard.
To the entire council. She seems to address that to the entire council, not just to one individual.
It's a goddamn entire forest full of werewolves. Like, what the fuck do you think? Yeah, we totally just left them here. We're too scared to go ask them to leave. Why don't you go do it for us? Do us a favor, you big bad blah.
Very clearly you are.
Yeah, of course we are. Are you not? Here, I'll drive you there myself. Let's go right now. You go talk to them. You know what? Fuck it. Let's take a helicopter. I'll just airdrop you, because I ain't going anywhere near them.
Such would be below the station of my rank, but
Yeah, that's what it is. It's not that you're scared of the
there's
fucking forest full of werewolves, you moron. Oh my god.
what of this contract, this a treaty? Who in their right mind, or therein lies the very problem? Who was absent enough of mind to create such a thing? Sam actually stands. That would be me. And while I am aware of the uniqueness of the situation, those wolves have sat on that mountain peacefully and with no problems. They have observed this document that you talk about for nigh on 500 years without an issue. And it is now suddenly that they find problems. Suffice it to say that I smell foul play here. Now, the Reverend Jimmy Johnson, as he acknowledges, as he points out who you are, Mitchell, he can tell you more about this, but given the fact that Mr. Johnson has already relayed his tale to this council, I would not require it again. Now, as far as what to do with them, I recognize your position as a member of the Inquisition. However, this is my domain, and it is within my power to dole out justice or reward as I see fit. She nods. Indeed it is. But I am here to observe. I will add what I feel I should, but I'm only here to observe. As you see, she actually takes a seat in one of the metal folding chairs. And you see, she opens up that file folder and she produces an ink pen from her pocket. Do continue. Again, let us continue the discussion of these wolves.
All right, so what exactly is there to discuss? Why don't we send this lady to go bring them the paperwork?
I don't think
Go give them an eviction notice.
it's not a paperwork issue, Mr. Pudinesco.
Oh, you don't say.
No, it's not a paperwork issue. They have the same paperwork that we do. Like I said, I know Dougal is a man of strong word, but he's a man of honor. He would not have done such a thing if he didn't have right reason to believe that this treaty had been violated. The problem is, this treaty has not been violated.
The Reverend kind of clears his throat.
Speak.
One would think that if they were going to deal out the punishment of death for trespass against a treaty, that they might actually ensure that the treaty has been trespassed against. Now, I am not a lawyer, but I would say that that means the majority of the blame falls upon them for very nearly ending my life.
I would greatly agree. I'm not going I'm not going to say the obvious here, because we are so few in number that and you see, he slightly turns his body to face the Bruja. We are so short in number here that to send another one to the mountain to bring this up would be folly. If any of you happen to contact the one that they call Lights, I need to speak with her immediately. And I will give any on this council or any in this room that same discretion.
At this, Harry clears his throat. Mr. Josiah,
Mr. Wallace?
I actually happen to have contact with Miss L. I can see to it that she knows that we need to meet with her.
Please do so. Post haste.
He actually reaches in his pocket. Doesn't pull anything out, but reaches in his pocket and just sits there thinking. At a game, you know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Pocket pool.
Now, hold on a second. One moment. Mr. Johnson, I may be amiss, and I may have misunderstood, but did you not say that you were contacted by a talking animal?
Yes, sir. There were two blackbirds that looked like they flew right out of that Dumbo picture.
Blackbirds.
Corax. Harry says it.
Did the pair? You said there were two. Did the pair happen to one of them have a rather urban accent?
Yes, he was quite vulgar.
Jamal. And Harry is saying this. Harry's saying what you hear me saying. Jamal.
Sam does not say a word, but his eyes seem to stare through you. An abject anger. It's an anger that would crush the world into tiny pieces. Almost to the point that you actually slightly feel like you want to run, but you don't. As you're able to, within the moment, determine that this anger is clearly not directed toward you, but more to the situation at hand. They're back. They're back, Harry.
Should we leave before
Those
you two
crows.
frenzy?
Those crows. Oh, I'm well under control.
Likewise.
Those crows.
Is there a way
Before we
to
go-
contact them?
Oh, trust me, if I contact them, the meeting will not end well for them, and I suspect it wouldn't end well if you contacted them either. Thus is the reason why, should you contact them, Mr. Johnson, or should they contact you again, you have my full princely backing to turn them to stew.
I could use a new
And that
frame.
goes for anyone else. That goes for anyone else on this council. But Mr. Johnson, you specifically, I am granting the right of destruction to another being. The rest of the council, if you happen to see them and you're able to subdue them and bring them in, please do so. However, do don't be don't misunderstand that I could give two shits about their standing.
This sounds like a job for a gig. I ain't chasing any birds.
Well, let me elaborate here. There are members of this council that I'm quite sure not as have not experienced as much in life as I. When this original document, as he taps on the parchment, when this original document was drafted, there were a number of dissenters, very, very vocal dissenters, who left the mountain and in doing so swore curses upon the entirety of the Venture clan, as well as any other of our kindred brethren. They've been before, and they've been a thorn, but a thorn that we had no trouble pricking. They had it had been small things, car crashes, masquerade breaches, easy things to cover up. But this is stepping outside the lines even for them. If I am reading this correctly, I can tell you what happened. Do counsel, if you feel I am taking over this meeting in too grand of a fashion, please say so. But my belief in what happened is thus.
I would like to move that we have no other voting on this day other than this topic and the topic that we've previously done.
Josiah looks around.
The Reverend kind of elbows Enzo.
Huh?
They do this often.
Do what? I'm sorry, I was not paying attention.
Oh, well, fair enough. Perhaps I shouldn't be either.
I'm trying to, pick up where I left off after this fucking asshole texted me in the middle of my thing.
Dazed placard goes up. Very well, motion carries. My belief is thus. Those particular feathered denizens, like I said, have held great distaste for the vampiric condition since I stepped foot on this side of the globe. What I believe has happened, Mr. Johnson, is I believe you've become the target of blackmail of sorts. I believe these Koraks have went and blabbed some mistruth and spread some grand rumor about yourself and about that this particular church is not in compliance with this treaty. I would think Dougal, smart enough a man to realize when his strings are being tugged, but those of you that have not had the unfortunate pleasure of dealing with the wolves would not know of their stubbornness. Yes, Harry, do get lights here. Post, haste.
he actually will pull his hand out of his pocket and look at Sam. Through my methods, I believe she knows she's needed. And she already knows about Jamal. And what was the other? Ben? Yeah. But yeah, she knows.
Be it known ye on this council this night, and be it known all manner of kindred within this domain. The creatures known as this Ben and Jamal hold no standing within this domain. If they are seen, they are to be dealt with. How that is done is entirely up to you. However, the masquerade will be kept intact. Am I understood?
I don't think it takes like magical powers or anything to kill a couple of birds. Like, you just kind of hit them with a hammer, or it'll shoot them.
If you can catch them before they catch you.
I mean, I've never seen a bird fly faster than a bullet.
These birds, however, do harness something extremely dangerous to our kind.
What's that? They vomit sunlight?
These birds, as you see, he actually looks over to you, Mr. Dannington. My research indicates that these birds do indeed harness the capability to call down good soul herself. If you see them, you have the opportunity, tear them twain. But be smart about this. If you elect to go hunting for them, do not go alone. I would assume this is common sense, but you see his eyes look away from the council momentarily as they look back up. This time falling over the gentleman in the room that had not yet spoke. The gentleman seated behind now, Duke Biltmore. You there, and this is you, Anthony, that he's talking to. You there. You've not spoken this eve.
Excuse me, sir?
What say you of all this?
I have no strong opinion. I've just arrived.
Oh, dude, that's
Well,
perfect. Your little, like, your gift is perfect for what you just said. That's awesome. I have no strong opinions at all.
Before you go any further, good sir, it is within the traditions of the Camarilla that I would require you to announce yourself.
My name is Desmond Turner of Clan Tremere.
Or Tremere.
Sorry about your buddy.
You have heard of your clanmate's plight this evening, so I'm sure it's well aware to you the opinion of this council on your clan. So think carefully of the question I'm about to ask you. But what is it that you bring to my domain, Mr. Desmond Turner of Clan Tremere?
Desmond looks as he measures his words. It looks like he was about to say something on a fly, but stops himself. I believe that once I speak with my regent, I will be more apt to answer your question more truthfully.
Well spoken. Now, have you elected Mr. Turner where you will take residence within this domain? Have you chosen a district of choice?
I believe I will be staying in the district that belongs to a Mr. Edgington. That one, I believe.
Very well, that would be the East Carolina district. Now, Mr. Dennington,
Darrington.
I as Prince of Tarheel I accept this gentleman into my domain. You, however, still retain the right to excuse him from yours, should that be your opinion. That being said, what instruction would you provide to the new Tremere within your domain, Mr. Dennington?
You're muted, bro.
His net might be acting up.
All right, good talk.
I will meet with
Very well, very well.
Darrington at his earliest convenience to discuss his vision for Clan Tremere and his domain.
Okay, sorry guys, I just got back. I had to go put my son back to bed.
Oh, no problem. Basically, what happened is the prince just basically said for Mr. Turner, basically said that I accept him into the state, but you still have the right to excuse him from the district, if that's your opinion. And asked us that did you have any instructions for him at this time?
No, it was Woodrow would have responded. Temporarily, he has hospitality within my district, but we'll have to discuss permanent residency.
Very well. Mr. Turner, Mr. Dannington, I would leave it to you two gentlemen to have that conversation at your leisure, pending the closure of this meeting. That being said,
I think one of them should have to shave their beards because that's too many in one area. That's just my opinion.
that being said of the meeting, all business was handled. I think we pretty very well progressed into new business, a new business that needs to be handled as soon as possible. Again, I will open the floor. This is to open discussion, as no voting will take place this eve. And I will open the floor as to the resolution of the problems that have been set forth. This being the problem of the GRU having overstepped their boundaries, as well as the security breach of this cabal of infernalists.
The Reverend's hand kind of shoots up.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes. Given the map of these abominations that have been created and discussed and studied, and given the nature of the attack on my personage by the lupines, and given that both of those take place within a very small area of one another, and given that the prince seems to believe that a lack of communication was responsible for at least some of these problems, that had secrets not been kept, these things might not be as great the issues that they currently are. I might request that Madam, Madam, and he looks flustered for just a moment and kind of embarrassed at himself, and he gestures at the Tremere lady.
Charlotte.
Yes, thank you. That Miss Charlotte might in fact perhaps the extend her hand in goodwill toward me by aiding me in some future endeavor to be named at an undisclosed time. Everybody's muted.
Yeah, yeah. Charlotte nods. That won't be a problem.
Well, thank you.
In fact, the clan is extremely interested in the apprehension of this Assamite.
I'm very certain that you are, and I would be happy to sell you my services on that behalf as well.
Samesies. As
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Day's placard goes up, to which Josiah acknowledges. Now, Miss Caraway, forgive the fervor with which I'm about to speak, but the point remains. How you have yet to be forthcoming in this council? How do we know that you're being forthcoming now? Charlotte speaks. It's a valid question. The Harpy is not here, so Mr. Harry, if he would be inclined as to record this, I would be in appreciation.
Harry will actually pull out his phone and prepare to type.
Be it known to this council and to this domain that Charlotte Caraway, in acting as the regent of the clan of the Tremere, shall henceforth provide all pertinent information as requested by the council that is gathered here within my limits and capability to do so. Should it be revealed that I have withheld information that I rightfully knew, I shall be condemned to final destruction upon the whim of the council.
Hey, I'm not like a fancy book nerd or anything, but that wording sounds real poor.
Marquez's placard goes up, to which again Josiah acknowledges. In short, Mr. Putinaska, she's saying if she lies, we get to kill her.
No, yeah, I know, but all right, whatever. Whatever you want to do, lady. If that's how you want to word it.
Again,
The
I
thing
will
that I'm
give
saying is bad is the word whim. That's no good.
It can be revised at a later date, to which Josiah's hand goes up. Oh, no, but it cannot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You fucked up.
Yeah. On any council member's casual want, I guess you'll be destroyed.
Oh, no. Hey, you need a
Provided
secure
that
place to sleep.
Provided that she does withhold information, and it's determined that she's withheld information upon the whim of this council. Mr. Biltmore,
Hang on, let me switch. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to leave it off.
Less than a fortnight ago, did not the clan of the kings meet for information sharing and gathering?
Quite.
And during this meeting, was it not uncovered that certain members of this council had indeed withheld information?
Yes.
And do you happen to have that document with you at this time?
He'll actually sort through his newly relocated documents and actually pull it out and hand it over to Josiah.
Miss Caraway, if it's not been immediately obvious, I would like to think that several members of this council have a very low opinion of you and yours at this time. Now, I hold in my hands a document that came to me by the hand of Mr. David. A document that confirms correspondence between yourself and a number of your clanmates, and how that they had intended to make appearance and possible permanent residence within my domain. Given the fact that I'm presenting this after such time as you have made this oath, and given the fact that this came to my desk beforehand, I will not bring you to death this night. As it is my right by your oath. However, be aware that should such occur again to myself or any member of this council, and that includes you as well, Mr. Putneska, your oath, you will be held to your oath.
Excuse me. Unfortunately, my prince, she did not give her life to be destroyed by you. Now we must decide as a group, should our whim want her dead, she would die now, because it is the council's choice.
Indeed it is, Mr. Dennington. The only thing that is preventing your death this night from this council is the previous motion to not vote. However, such is the rules of order that motion can be rescinded at any time, with but a single other motion.
I look over at Day.
You see his fingers drum across the desk as he has actually looked over to Marquez. As an uneasy silence and tension comes over the room, the hinges of the door are heard. And Josh, this is you whenever you're ready. All right. As you come in tonight, the council meeting is set up a little differently than what you're used to. Rather than it simply being a round table with chairs, each individual duke or duchess has an actual office desk that they are seated at. Those desks are aligned in a circle around each other. And then Mr. Putneska also has a chair. There is a gentleman that you have never seen before seated behind Biltmore, and you can describe yourself, Desmond, if you would like. And you actually see Josiah looks up as the hinges of the door are heard.
And at this time, he'll just sort of slide in very quietly, very carefully, not interrupting proceedings any more than need be, but just sort of sliding up against a wall, kind of leaning against it, just sort of observing, notepad out, making sure to keep careful notes of anything that might be said or heard.
Well, Woodrow turns round and says, "Ah, the late, great Mr. Ashford. Thank you for gracing the council with your presence finally."
Oh, think nothing of it. I was just...
Oh, yeah, what took you so long? You had to walk or something?
You wouldn't believe it if I told you.
Well, yeah, probably, because you're the one saying it.
Seeing Ashford come in, Harry looks at him, makes eyes with him, makes sure that he knows that he's looking at him. Harry will pull out his phone and actually hold it up to him, and indicate that they need to share notes.
Not a problem.
Mr. Ashford, two things. Well, three things, but one. First, the admonishment of your lateness, but that will be handled in private, as all professional men should conduct themselves. Two, you have requested to speak. And three, behind me, you will see that there is another desk, much like the ones you see here before you. That one is yours.
So, now that this seat's been indicated, he will take it up his residence and just kind of observe the proceedings as normal.
I
Now,
think the prince said you were to talk.
Oh,
before you do so, however, Mr. Ashford, it should be known, and the counts and counsel I give you, and if you will, fill in any blanks that I happen to miss here, it should be known to you that Miss Carraway has just put her head on the chopping block. Now, I am normally not a man of violence, but tonight has got my dander up significantly. What with this talk of infernalist security breaches and guru contract breaches, tonight I'm very beside myself. But you have the floor, Mr. Ashford.
oh, of course, I'll be very quick and concise. As far as a lot of things going on in the state, there has literally been a large quantity of strange goings on, infernalist insanity involving wolves, this, that, and the other. And to be quite honest, all that I'm suggesting are somewhat social improvements. Now, Mr. Enzo has taken up residence in the former Duke Tyson's home, has managed that very well, trying to do the best he can with the current situation. And personally, I just think of it as an added security matter that some of the other properties be annexed by the other dukes, sort of kept under a Cold War lockdown, if you will, because Lord knows whatever Nazi propaganda insanity that man might have still up his sleeve, or any kind of bizarre nonsense that his occultist dabbler ass was dealing with. Pardon me. Now, this being said, I would like to possibly put forward the idea that a position be created for the purpose of hunting down these infernalists and these rather strange occultist individuals, that Duke Dannington actually be awarded this position due to the fact that he has relatively hunted them down with relative ease and efficiency. However, the privileges and rights of this position would be left up to the council to decide whatever you would feel appropriate, but I feel that it would be made an official position, thus giving him some manner of authority in dealing with these situations, rather than unofficially going around disturbing traffic, disturbing business, blowing things up, and having an authority to clear the streets, make things a little less conspicuous. Now, at this point, I would leave it to the council to decide amongst yourselves and yield my time so that business may continue. This is just an idea, and this was more of a request than a demand. I just thought it would be a constructive criticism.
Excuse me, Mr. Ashford.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering why you told your clanmate that I was not in control of my beast.
I did not say that specifically. What I said was, you have a habit of causing a lot of attention, have a habit of bucking authority, tend to cause a lot of devastation and unwarranted, looking for a word here, unwarranted attention to yourself. That's all I said. I didn't say anything about not being in control of your beast.
Okay, I would like to know on which event. By the way, I've caught you. I was fishing. Your clanmate didn't give you up.
Nope, sure didn't.
I specifically am wondering when I blew something up.
Well, I wasn't saying of anything being blown up particularly right now. What I
Okay.
mean is the
When was the last time that I breached the masquerade and it needed to be covered?
let's see, the massive car pileup involving you and Mr. Enzo, to which
Yeah,
I
it's not a masquerade breach, retard. Sorry, that happens all the time. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to be talking while you're talking. Go ahead.
I believe that
No, no,
happened
no.
in Mr. Levitolia's district, and he specifically said that he would cover up any situation that arose, and so that I was privy to do what was needed to handle an issue for him. But please continue.
I was just simply pointing out that a little more circumspection could be used in your methods. After all, we are trying to masquerade as human, not create a Michael Bay film. That's
I,
all I'm saying.
Well,
he
you
turns
see,
to what's his name, the Marquez, and he says, Marquez, in saving your situation and making sure that you were able to deliver your goods, in what part did I fail you?
One, before
Excuse
I answer that question,
Oh, go ahead.
let me first state, Mr. Ashford, you make a strong claim, but you bring no physical evidence. Two, Mr. Dennington was invited onto this particular mission solely because I know of his methods. And his methods were needed for the possibility of what we may run into. In no way did I see a breach of the masquerade that was major enough that it should be brought up before this council. As I have spoke with you, Mr. Josiah, about what happened, and we both agreed to the story that was leaked to the press, and as far as I am aware, Mr. Josiah, that occurred. Three,
sounds to me like
the
this
incident
Harpy's fucking up his job.
the incident that you refer to, if I believe I'm right in this, it was in fact not Mr. Dannington that fired the first shot. That would be Mr. Putanesca, to which he was reprimanded and did comply. So I ask you again, Mr. Ashwood, where is the evidence that you bring forth for this? Otherwise, your suggestion, as you call it, is easily misconstrued as simple, dare I say, jealousy.
Jealousy? I find that rather amusing. I simply
I find it amusing that you're questioning Mr. Dannington and myself's ability to do our jobs when you can't even make it here on time.
This may be true,
You
and
literally can't do your job because you can't get to where you need to be because you can't drive a car or be in a car or a train or anything. You make baseless claims. You don't have any notes. You're dumber than me, which is just disgusting. And you dress like a fan.
Point of order. How the fuck would Enzo know that in character?
Because everyone in the entire place knows we've been making fun of you about it all night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is knowledge.
Okay. Fair enough. These claims being what they are, if I am
Well, I'm
inefficient
not
in my
making any
crime,
claims. I'm just stating facts, like that are well known to everybody here. I don't make baseless claims because I'm
no,
not an asshole.
okay,
At
fair
least
enough.
in that respect.
Now, the fact whether I'm not or am an asshole is not the point of contention here.
Yeah, no, I was saying that I don't think you're fit to do your job. The asshole thing was just an aside because that's how I feel.
Okay, fair enough. If the council, being the ruling members of this city, and not yourself, Mr. Putinesca, find issue with my abilities, I freely resign my office. It was something awarded to me which I will freely resign. I do not feel the need to wave around what little authority, what little sense I have in my head, and throw it in everyone's face.
Well, I mean, you
Personally,
did decide that it would be pertinent to make baseless claims. I use that word again, baseless. Baseless claims against my friends here
yes, absolutely
The
and,
Reverend,
wonderful.
and myself.
the
Even
It's
though
Reverend,
absolutely
you've done nothing
wonderful.
but service to this thing, you've done.
the
I don't
Reverend
know.
will tap Endo on the shoulder and like whisper in his ear for a second. Be like, "Do you want me to say something?"
Oh.
I mean, I can.
Go ahead, man. It's all you.
The
I'm
Reverend.
here to make sure that your voice gets heard. My friend
Oh.
here has something to say.
The Reverend stands. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Ashford, but you seem to have a lot to say about Mr. Dannington and Mr. Putinesca's methods. But I don't believe you are fully cognizant of the stress of that particular um sort of duty. Secondly, the statement that you just made, while technically correct, seemed to have an air of offense toward the independent clans that reside in this area. Now, as a member of one of those otherwise unrepresented clans, I lean upon Mr. Putinescu quite a bit here to help me and make certain that I am not shuffled over by the tower, you see. And I would very much appreciate it if perhaps the next time that you spoke to the independent representative, that you would do so in a tone that gives a little more respect. For you will see that Mr. Putinesca and myself have done quite a bit to aid Mr. Dannington in his efforts, at least since I have been in this area.
Now, offense was given, but it wasn't towards the independent clans. Free
Oh,
enough.
so you're trying to offend me? Well, allow me to suggest a way to resolve this. How about we go out in the parking lot and I beat the dog shit out of you in front of God and everybody and put you under the ocean like that lady over there?
To which you see Charlotte actually shudders slightly as Josiah holds up a hand. Gentlemen, gentlemen, gentlemen. If there is a fence, if there is a fence, then I leave it to the gentlemen to which who have been offended to sort it out. But
I'll write down my
another,
address to my house that he was talking about on the back of a business card and flick it over there. Whenever you get around to walking there, I'll be waiting for you.
I would suggest that you refrain from violence. However, if that is what you prefer, remember that the right of destruction is mine and mine alone.
So
I didn't catch that last part because my earphones fell out.
he said the right of destruction is his alone.
Oh yeah, no. Far be it from me to ever kill anybody in the ivory tower, but I would be happy to beat this man into torpor and drop him far away.
Mr. Ashford, I am the one who takes offense to your claim on my person.
Well, I mean, I'm also now offended, so that's two. I think the Reverend makes 3.
Do you have any basis for your claims that I have not done what is necessary for the domain, or I have in some way endangered it?
Well, let's see.
Why don't you check your ledgers there? You know, you haven't been carrying them around on foot or nothing.
Amos's placard goes up, to which
Ah.
she's acknowledged.
Yeah, I yield to Amos.
Right. Given the fact that Mr. Ashford has made such a faux pas of sorts, perhaps he would be best served by some momentary recompense. Of course, one not bearing destruction, as you have said, Mr. Josiah. That you're right. But as we are on the brink of a possibility of great conflict here, we need the forces should be marshaled. Perhaps a exchanging of domains of sorts, or something of the like.
I've got a quicker, non-violent way. If my memory serves me correctly, you know, it doesn't always. I believe Mr. Ashford here still owes me a boon, and for that boon, since those shoes on his feet are his only means of transportation, I'd like those, please. And he sticks out his hand.
And at this point, he actually quickly undoes the Armani loafers he's wearing and, well, just hand them over to Mr. Enzo.
Thanks.
Glad to do service.
Oh, yeah. These are fake. And he tosses them over his shoulder.
As they fly over your shoulder, Goodwin. Josiah actually reaches for the gavel. I'm aware that this has not been solved, but to be quite frankly, you all try my patience this night. And as I consider myself a patient man, I'm going to excuse myself from the proceedings.
Well, I guess the party's over.
He brings the gavel down 3 times. Then he speaks. Now, I would appreciate it if you fine ladies and gentlemen could manage to not put your fangs in each other tonight.
Well, you know, you are what you eat, and as I said, I'm not an asshole.
Excuse me, Mr. Ashford.
Yes, sir.
For your attack against a person, would it be fair for what Miss Amos said for me to acquire one of your domains?
What would you request?
The Motor Speedway.
You know what? Sure. You can have it.
Thank you. I assume your people will finish up the paperwork and consign all of the personal assets of that to me.
Yeah, Woodrow, why don't you make sure not to blow it up or breach the masquerade while you're there?
I will definitely attempt to, Mr. Putin-esque.
All right.
Marquez actually speaks up. And in the interest of continued vitality of Mr. Ashford, I do have a number of, I do have some tourist interests in the Mecklenburg area that I can let go of.
This would be appreciated. Thank you, sir. Now,
and those of you that know Marquez, just an odd feeling just permeated the room, and a feeling of victory and defeat.
No.
And Marquez feels Harry's eyes on him. And you know the look as, what did you just do?
Now that I have rendered service and recompense and suffered, I feel like I should get off this cross and start hunting crazy Sabat that are trying to blow us all up.
I think that me and Woodrow got that covered, but you can always try and help like you always do.
Oh, no, 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 no. If you feel like you have it handled, by all means.
Well, I mean, if you're not going to help your sect, then that's fine too.
I believe what has just happened is that after discussing your methods negatively, he is now going to rely on them instead of offering his assistance.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
I
no, no.
see. So you're telling me that he's putting his, bare foot in his mouth?
If I may,
No, please do.
as a show of contrition, I was actually putting some faith in the gentleman's methods. I was fully intending to assist, but however, I was letting Mr. Enzo have his say as he usually is wont to do. Now,
Oh, yeah, thanks for allowing me to exercise my free will there, God.
And with this, you notice that Josiah has left the room.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, Mr. Ashford?
Some of us have a long drive home.
And some of us are very, very understanding of that. If you feel like you need to go, please do. I won't hold you up any further. And at this, he'll actually start on his way walking out.
I will say to the rest of the
As
council.
you,
Oh, go ahead.
as you start to head out, you actually feel Josiah's hand actually get put out to stop you. Wait.
And he'll spin on his heel.
No, Josiah had already left too. He just, as you started towards the door, he stopped you. I would
Alright.
have words with you. Wait.
Oh, of course, I will be at your service.
As we cut back over to the council.
Fellow council members, I don't mean to offend, but I apparently have pressing matters with the chief individual or an important individual in the Camarilla Inquisition. Is there anything else we need to discuss?
I think that we should have snacks at the next meeting, but other than that, no.
Hargrove stands turning his attention to you. Just that I would need to speak with you at some point soon. We have the family matters.
Very good.
Love that show.
You can speak with me. I also need to speak to Biltmore and this fine individual over here. And he'll gesture to Annabelle.
The
Council
Bruja
member.
Inquisitor.
Oh, go
The
ahead.
Bruja Inquisitor stands, nods. Well, I'll see what I think I need to see. Mr. Dennington, at your leisure.
Thank you. May we adjourn, fellow council members?
They nod.
Cool. I will get up and I will walk over to. Oh man, I was gonna say uh, the new Tremere guy, but he is not in this convo anymore. So,
Yeah, he had to.
He had to
He
go.
had to go.
He said it in the chat, but since you don't have access to the chat right now,
yeah,
you
that's
missed
cool.
it.
Then I guess I will talk to Hargrove first.
You see, he actually extends his hand.
I shake his hand.
All right. This partnership has worked out quite well, and I would like to see that it continues to work out that well.
Woodrow will nod.
And you actually see he moves the pair of you into a more secure area as he continues his discussion after he knows that no one's listening.
Yeah, I'll activate heightened senses and look around. Assuming I don't see anybody, then I will
Yeah,
turn.
and you know he did the same. You know the power, so you recognize that he did the same.
Cool.
I'm gonna come out and say this as plain as I can, because I'm a plain kind of guy.
Sure.
Terrence is a fucking idiot.
I know.
I have plans. He thinks he's playing me like a fiddle, and as far as I'm concerned, he can keep thinking that. But I have plans to move him off that chair.
Sounds great.
Hey?
Someone else should take a spot.
And those plans involve, like I said, family matters.
Okay.
Do it subtle, do it smart. But I'm going to take these steps. Now, it's up to you what you would like to do, but I would believe that you see his idiocy as well.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Great. I'll take steps to
I'm
remove
blocking
him. Do you have someone else that
I'm
wants to
blocking
take his spot?
everything. I'm blocking everything he puts up, and I would encourage you to do that as well.
Yeah, I'll do my best. Do you have anybody in mind?
You've not met her yet, but I have a. Let's just, like I said, it's a family matter.
Very good. We can speak on it more later.
Very well. Travel well, Mr. Dennington.
Cool. You can do like a Josh scene. At some point, Josh, I'd like to try to catch you before you fully leave the whole place, but you can do your side thing or whatever.
Oh, of course.
All right. Biltmore, you notice from the corner of your eye that Josiah actually points at you and beckons you to him. He doesn't use the actual power, but
Yeah.
he basically tells him, "Come here."
Yeah. He'll walk over.
He does the same thing, carries the three of you into a more secure room. And he directs this towards the harpy. What the hell were you thinking?
I think, to be quite honest, losing the leash of the racetrack won't hurt me all that much. My skills lie in espionage. I understand that it was a reward for legal service, but I also know that you were trying to keep me under watch because you never fully trust me. I expect that not having that more public leash, not having that constant spotlight on me, I will be more effective at my real job. Now, that being said, taking a fall, making a big show of punishment, and getting my ass kicked temporarily will better serve my methods in the long term.
You better know what you're doing. Because to be quite honest, you're making us look like crap.
Mhm.
And as he says us, you see he actually motions to a finger around to indicate the three of you. And I have the same question for you, Biltmore. You know he's volatile. Why did you push him?
I thought that he might accept assistance.
Best laid plans, it would seem.
Well, they have a saying, the best laid plan never survives first contact with the enemy. And I think the two of you have seen that tonight.
Mhm.
You, as he points to you, Ashford. You keep your nose clean.
Crystal clear. This isn't the 70s. I never really indulged in that particular habit, but...
Regardless, you know what I mean.
Oh, I know.
And you, I've done everything I know to teach you about this condition. And I'd like to think that I did a good job. So when Woodrow comes storming in your office in the next couple of hours, he's going to be upset. I'm telling you this now. But when he comes storming in your office in the next couple of hours, this one's on you. Do me a favor and don't get yourself killed again.
He just nods.
No, that's all I have. You're dismissed. Now, try not to make us look like fools.
So, I will make my way on out.
All right. If you want to try to catch him now, PJ, you can, unless you gotta go.
No, excuse me, Mr. Ashford.
Yes, sir.
I don't know why you thought. I don't know if you put your clanmate up to it, but having him call me out in public could never turn out well. I understand the meaning of losing myself to my beast. My humanitas has slipped in the directions my duties take me. However, insulting me in front of my peers is dangerous at best and deadly at worst. I, upon advisement from the Reverend, uh, went with a social beating for you. Apparently, he carries some kindness for you that I am definitely not feeling at the moment. I feel that we had worked well previously, but unfortunately, you see me as some monster who cannot be controlled. I am a monster, Mr. Ashford, but I am in control. Our allies don't fall from my claws, only our enemies. But as time goes on, I'm finding it more difficult to ascertain who is an ally and who is an enemy.
Well, I do apologize if I make the line a little blurry, but you have to understand that was my original job. Now,
To blur lines? That's your job?
to sneak behind enemy lines, to sometimes make things a bit hard to guess. Now,
Your plan. I'm confused. Am I the enemy whose lines you're attempting to sneak behind?
well, no. You, sir, are just someone I'm a little bit suspicious of. And that's kind of public knowledge. Now, I understand that we're going to have differing methods, that we're not going to trust each other all that much. Personally, I respect your skills. I respect that you're very good at your job. Whether you respect me or not is not necessary. However, as always, I do put my services at the good of the realm. Whatever I can do to help, I will.
I understand. Apparently, I was too circumspect, and Woodrow totally drops the the old this formal thing he's been doing. Listen, motherfucker. If you cross me again, it will not be a social beating. It will be a real beating. And won't nobody know where you end up. So leave me the fuck alone.
Understood, sir.
With that, he just walks right past you.
And Enzo will make his way out of these like doors into apparently like this entry hall or whatever that all this is taking place, and he'll just look at Ashford. Oh, hey bud, need a ride?
Oh no, I'm fine, as usual.
Oh yeah, all right. There's something I wanted to tell you, but I forgot. Oh, right. I'm gonna kill you. And then he just leaves. Also.
Very nice.
Followed by Marquez actually begins to take his exit. And he stops after hearing that. And he approaches, this time handing a card to you, Mr. Ashford. The information about the tourist trap.
Thank you, sir.
And I did just hear their conversation.
Well, I didn't expect him to be.
Anybody kills you, I think it's obvious that it's going to be me.
Oh, please.
He literally puts two fingers to his brow as he takes his leave, and he's speaking as he walks. Again, that card has the address for you, as well as additional information you'll find interesting. And you see that you can see through the card, there's something written on the back of it.
Mm-hmm. And so I'll flip it over and take a look at it.
It reads but a simple word: check.
And he'll actually grin rather amused, but make my way on out the building.
The Reverend will try to find time to catch the Tremere chick before she leaves.
She hadn't done so.
Okay.
Actually, she and Andy actually seem to be having a bit of a discussion.
Oh, well then I'll stand to the side and wait for that to die down a little bit.
You can hear bits and pieces of it. Apparently, the two of them are concocting something about the gangrel, or about that they need to be watched. To which Andy's comment is that she doesn't think they need to be watched, but she thinks they can be an ally. She notices that you're standing there, and she speaks. But Miss Carraway, the night draws long, and besides, I believe you have an additional visitor that I will let you attend to. So, I bid you evening, madam.
Oh, Miss Amos, before you leave, I would like to thank you again for your kindness and generosity in nights past. If there's anything I can ever do for you, please do not hesitate to ask.
Actually, there is.
I'm all ears. Do you have my card, ma'am?
I do not believe I do. As a
I'll
matter of
slip it
fact,
over.
we should do the same formalities, and I do not believe you have a contact from Yuzi either, good sir. You see, she passes a card to you, but it actually is a card for. It says it's a record company.
Uh huh. Okay. I
You
will.
have but one. You have but one request from me, Mr. Johnson. When you find those foul creatures of this earth, rend them to shreds for me, please.
I will do my utmost to comply. And he'll bow slightly and tip his hat.
As she takes her exit.
Pardon
All right.
me, Miss Caraway, is
One,
it?
just one note of order. PJ, if you want to take care of the boon request, and if you could, Walt said, do it over Facebook if you can, because he's got to get going.
Right on.
Okay. All right. Continue.
Miss Caraway, is it?
Indeed, it is.
Ah, I don't mean to kick you when you're down, madam, but what exactly will you be offering to assuage the pain that has been caused by your secrecy?
Oh, you have nothing to worry about, Mr. Johnson. You see, the Tremere are never down, even though we may seem it. Let me first ask of the. Forgive my intrusion, but I'm afraid I'm hazy on the details of exactly what you lost, other than your pride.
Well, madam, when was the last time that you were beaten very nearly to death, uh, ripped apart by lupines, and found yourself out on the edge of a public highway in a condition which, by the by, would have been impossible under which a mortal could conceivably continue to move or even breathe. It would have been a terrible trouble had I met anyone on that road, you see. It also put me out of commission for quite a few nights while I attempted to recover from my injuries. I've
Very
also
well.
had to go back around, and he'll like openly talk over her.
Yeah.
I've also had to go around with Mr. Dannington and Mr. Putanesca and help right some of the wrongs that your clanmate is responsible for, I am told. I have also helped to gather information from the Assamite about the nature of the treachery from within your own ranks, in case you were not aware that your secrets, your family secrets, were being traded away. And I believe that I have gone out of my way on more than several occasions during my short span in this clusterfuck domain to make sure that Clan Tremere doesn't look like a bunch of fucking idiots. And he'll just kind of stare at her for a minute.
Yeah. One, do not take this as slight, but one, I would greatly appreciate that if you would refrain from including that worthless excuse for Kinder Tyson ever within
He holds his
the
finger
range
up.
of my family.
Madam, do you know what the followers of Mighty Set do when we have a problem amongst our own?
Do enlighten me, sir.
We cull the problem. Police your own. He was of your blood. He is your responsibility. Continue, please.
Let me first extend the olive branch of the Mecklenburg district. If she catches herself. Apologies. I'm just so used to being able to do that. Let me first offer my sincere apologies, and I know that does little to quell your pain, but publicly let it be known, and I will see to it this occurs. It shall be publicly known that the clan of the clan of wizards, as they call us, is offers a public apology to you and yours. You also shall enjoy at your leisure open feeding rights within the Wake District. Yes, I'm aware that Josiah is here, but I am too, and I would think that I really think that Vienna can get it through his skull. But regardless, you shall enjoy open feeding rights within the Wake District, and as far as I'm concerned, any district that I have any sway or command over from henceforth, as well as now this will be with limitations, of course, but you also shall enjoy the right of hospitality within any chantry that you so stumble upon within this domain. Of course, that shall be within limits, as we can't give away all our secrets, you understand.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. Why, thank you, and he'll extend his hand for hers.
She does so, but you notice that she actually, and for some reason you didn't catch this during the meeting, but she actually extends a gloved hand to you.
Good. Good. I will kiss the back of her glove, and I will lean forward and I will whisper into her ear. My dear, I hope I did not come on too strong. This will be my final word on the matter this evening. If you work with me, you will prosper. If you cross me, you will disappear. And he'll turn around and walk off.
Perhaps we shall disappear together, Mr. Johnson.
At that point, the Reverend is done with his business and he'll leave.
Dinner. Wednesday night.
Pardon?
I am I am 100% serious.
Oh, what the hell? I'll clear my schedule. I'll let you choose the place. I'm still kind of new to the area.
Very well. I will see to it that you're contacted.
Thank you very much. You have a pleasant evening, ma'am.
She does so. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been the second council meeting of Tarheel by Dark.